Hey, so it's day 16 of the vlog. I'm shooting a quick one. It's right at the end of the night, so I have to be super fast to meet my deadline of doing one every day. I've had some problems shooting this video today for various reasons. The video keeps crashing for some reason. I tried to record this early in the afternoon and it crashed. It's just done so again while I was trying to record it now, and I was interrupted by a call. I've learned from that, and you should record videos on your phone with airplane mode on if you don't want to be disturbed. But hopefully this time I'm going to get it done. My preference is to try and shoot these in one take, so it's real, it's raw, it's how I'm thinking right at the moment, rather than it being too planned or scripted or rehearsed. But it is what it is. So here we go. Today's subject that I want to talk about is empathy and the importance of trying to be kind and to understand other people a little bit, because everybody is going to be dealing with what's happening right now in a different way. I was semi-inspired to write this because I got frustrated today, and have been a couple of times before, but today I couldn't help myself but react. The incident was that I was walking, as I do. There's a park near me, and we can still go out to exercise here in the UK, thankfully. So I go out for a walk around there for about an hour, as I do every day at the moment. And there was a group walking in the opposite, like coming towards me on the path. So we both moved to the opposite edges of the path to make sure that we were keeping, the 6 foot 2 meter social distancing recommendation between us. And a cyclist took this as an opportunity to zoom straight down the middle of the path between us. And I couldn't stop myself today from just making a comment at the guy as he went through, and he kind of looked behind as he went past and sneered at me and carried on. Right. So I was a bit frustrated about this, and it was occupying my mind a little bit as I finished the walk. I thought about it, and I thought it's important to try to be compassionate, kind, and generous in the way I'm thinking about why this guy did what he did. Yes, I thought of it at the time as extremely inconsiderate, and there certainly is a little bit of that involved, but there certainly are going to be reasons why that person is behaving that way. Perhaps, like some people are, they're in denial about what's going on, got their head in the sand a little bit, or trying to ignore what's happening. Perhaps that ignorance is not just trying to bury their head in the sand. Perhaps it's rooted in some misinformation somewhere. Like a big conspiracy theory at the moment in the UK is that 5G masts are causing the spread of coronavirus. And if somebody believes that, then their choice of behaviour is going to be different than someone who understands how a virus spreads. They might think that they don't need to do the things they're being recommended to do, because that's not what's causing a spread, and they're only being asked not to do that because someone's out there trying to restrict their day or restrict their movements or whatever else. It could be that the person's so caught up in concern or worry about what's happening that they're just not thinking about what they're doing. Could be a bunch of things. There's always a reason for why people behave the way they do. And it's not just me that gets frustrated by this. I've spoken to friends and family members as well who've been frustrated by certain people, by people ignoring social distancing recommendations, whether that's walking around with people outside from their households, or even, as I spoke to one friend, being frustrated that when you go shopping, somebody decides to lean right over you and grab something on the shelf next to you rather than waiting a few moments for you to get your stuff and move on. Easy to be frustrated. I know I get frustrated quickly, especially because I've got family that works in the health service. So, there's a big concern for me about what's going on. And I have a very good understanding of what causes the spread of virus, what we can do to help it, what we should be doing to try and be considerate of each other in terms of our behaviour. But not everybody either has access to that information or feels that close to what's happening that it's a big deal for them. For sure, for a lot of people, they might be thinking, I'm healthy, I'm strong, I don't have to worry about my health, and if you're worried about your health, well, you get out of my way, sort of thing. So yeah, that's going to happen. But right now, because of everything that's going on, it's even more important than it usually is. Not that it's not usually important, to be kind to each other, to be generous in the way we think about the way other people are acting, and to try to be understanding, to try to be compassionate, and of course to try to be calm, right? Because it doesn't help me to get angry about it. It doesn't help me to say something to somebody else particularly, and I'm probably very unlikely to change their mode of behaviour. I'm unlikely to change their actions, because we're several weeks into this, right? So if somebody hasn't taken on board that attitude of perhaps a more considerate viewpoint of other people, then they're not likely to change anytime soon. So it doesn't help me to get frustrated about that. It's much better for me to try to understand somebody else, for me to try to be compassionate about somebody else, and ultimately, beyond all of that, to sort of forgive somebody else if they're not, say, behaving the way I'd like them to, or whatever else. Well, unfortunately the world doesn't work like that. So really important, try to be kind, try to be understanding. Obviously, I said before that I'm doing this video series for me, and it's very much to remind myself that there's no point in getting too frustrated about these things. Try to be empathetic, try to be kind. There's a lot of people, as I say, who are suffering through what we're experiencing right now, suffering stress, suffering concern, whether it's like me, suffering concern for sort of a broad concern for family members, or worse, when there's going to be people out there who have real deep concerns about somebody who's ill now, or maybe is going into hospital and they're worried about their exposure to the virus. So important to be kind, to be compassionate, to be empathetic. All right, that's the video for today. Thanks very much if you tuned in, and I will be back again tomorrow.